After the great leader Joshua passed away, the land of Israel stood at a crossroads. The tribes had entered the promised land by the mighty hand of God, but much work remained. Enemies still lurked, cities were yet unconquered, and hearts were untested. With no king to lead them, the Israelites were to live under the rule of God Himself. But would they remain faithful? Would they obey His commands? The book of Judges tells the tragic yet hopeful tale of a people who forgot their God, suffered the consequences, and cried out for mercy, only to be rescued time and again by deliverers God raised up, the judges. After Joshua's death, the tribes sought God's guidance. Judah led the charge, partnering with Simeon, and they won victories against Canaanite kings. But many tribes failed to drive out the enemy completely. Instead of obedience, compromise seeped in. God sent a messenger to rebuke them. "You have not obeyed my voice," the angel cried. "Why have you done this?" The people wept and named the place Bochum, weeping. Yet weeping wasn't enough. They soon forgot the Lord. Each generation grew more corrupt, worshiping Baal and Ashtoreth. So began the cycle of the judges: sin, suffering, supplication, salvation, and then sin again. When Israel cried out under the oppression of the king of Mesopotamia, God raised Othniel, a brave warrior from Judah. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he led Israel to victory. Peace lasted 40 years until Othniel died. Soon, King Eglon of Moab crushed Israel. For 18 years they groaned. Then came Ehud, a left-handed man with a plan. He brought tribute to Eglon, but hid a dagger on his right thigh. In private, he said, "I have a message from God." When Eglon rose, Ehud struck. The king fell, and Ehud escaped to rally the troops. Moab fell that day, and peace followed. In a single verse, we meet Shamgar, who struck down 600 Philistines with nothing but an ox goad, a cattle prod. A reminder, God can use anyone with anything. When King Jabin of Canaan ruled cruelly and his general Sisera terrorized the land, the people cried out again. Deborah, a prophetess and judge, summoned Barak, but Barak hesitated. "If you go with me, I will go," he said. Deborah agreed, but warned, "The glory will not be yours. The Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman." In battle, God threw Sisera's army into confusion. Sisera fled on foot to the tent of Jael, a seemingly gentle woman, but while he slept, she drove a tent peg through his skull. Deborah and Barak sang a song of victory, praising Jael as most blessed of women. Israel fell again, this time under the Midianites. They hid in caves as crops were stolen year after year. Then the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, a young man threshing wheat in secret. "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." But Gideon doubted, saying, "If God is with us, why is this happening?" Still, he obeyed, tearing down his father's altar to Baal. But when it came time to fight, he asked for a sign twice. First, a fleece wet with dew while the ground stayed dry, then the reverse, and God granted both. With only 300 men, God led Gideon to victory over 135,000 Midianites, using nothing but trumpets, jars, and torches. But peace didn't last. After Gideon's death, Israel returned to idols. Gideon had many sons, but Abimelech, born to a concubine, sought power. He killed his 70 brothers to become king. Only Jotham the youngest escaped and warned the people with a parable. "If you have acted honorably, may joy come. But if not, fire will come from Abimelech." And sure enough, Abimelech's reign ended in fire and betrayal. As he attacked a city, a woman dropped a millstone on his head. To avoid the shame of being killed by a woman, he asked his armor bearer to finish him. The Ammonites oppressed Israel. The people repented, and God raised Jephthah, a rejected son of a harlot, now a mighty warrior. He tried to negotiate peace, but was rejected. Then he made a rash vow. If you give me victory, I will sacrifice the first thing that comes out of my house. God gave victory. But the first to greet him was his only daughter. She accepted her fate with dignity, asking only for time to mourn. The story reminds us, don't make promises to God you can't keep. Israel fell to the Philistines. Then came Samson, born to a barren woman, chosen by God from the womb. A Nazirite with great strength, Samson had one weakness, his desire for Philistine women. He killed a lion with his bare hands. He slew 1,000 men with a donkey's jawbone. But he could not resist Delilah, who seduced him into revealing the secret of his strength, his uncut hair. His hair was cut, his strength gone, his eyes gouged out. But in his final act, blind and chained, Samson prayed, "Let me die with the Philistines." He pushed the pillars apart and the temple fell, killing thousands. So, a man named Micah made a shrine, crafted an idol, and even went so far as to hire his own Levite priests. But then the tribe of Dan, who were still looking for a place to settle, came along and, well, they stole both the idol and the priest. They went on to conquer the city of Laish and, sadly, established idol worship there. This whole story really highlights a recurring theme. Everyone did what was right in their own eyes. In what is honestly the darkest and most disturbing part of the book of Judges, a Levite's concubine was horrifically abused and died at the hands of wicked men from Gibeah, a city belonging to the tribe of Benjamin. In response, the Levite cut her body into 12 pieces and sent them throughout Israel. Shocked and outraged, all the tribes gathered together and demanded justice, but Benjamin refused to hand over the guilty men. So war broke out. The tribe of Benjamin was nearly destroyed. Only 600 men survived. Israel mourned deeply, realizing that one of God's tribes had almost vanished. In time, they came up with a way to provide wives for the remaining men of Benjamin, and a fragile peace was, at least somewhat, restored. The book ends with the haunting line, "In those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes." This wasn't just a political observation. It was a deeply spiritual one. Without God as their king, Israel spiraled into chaos. And yet, even in their repeated failures, God remained faithful. He continued to raise up flawed yet courageous leaders to rescue his people. The book of Judges isn't just a tragic account of brokenness. It's a powerful testimony of a merciful and mighty God who hears and answers when his people cry out. It's a call to live in obedience with faith and trust in the only true judge who can save, Jesus Christ, our deliverer and eternal King. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.